Welcome, everybody, to the Autonomy Limited AI Tools of the Week. This podcast is here to bring you the latest AI tools and technologies in a way that's easy to understand for everybody. Whether you're new to AI or just simply curious about the world of tech, our show is here to provide insights and tips on how to leverage AI ethically in order to enhance your daily life. So join us each week as we explore this fascinating world of AI and showcase the best tools and practices to help you unlock your full potential using this technology. I got some really cool tools to show off today from the wild world of AI. And first, I'm going to start off with this interview hack. So this was shown to me by Matt Walsh. You should you should check him out on YouTube. But this is on GitHub right now, but you can download it onto a Windows. And essentially, if you're in a live interview, or not a live interview, if you're in an interview that is online, this basically pops open a chat next to you and will listen to the interviewer and then prompt you on what to say. Check this out.
What about your development areas? What do you have identified as your greatest and biggest improvement areas? And what have you done to improve them so far?
I would say my greatest development area is my communication skills. I work on improving my ability to clearly convey my thoughts and ideas to others. I've been working on improving by practicing my active listening and consciously hearing the ideas from other people.
Pretty tricky. If you need these tools for an interview, you should probably get Autonomy. Next up, I want to show off this really awesome video lip syncing software called Lalamu. It's pretty awesome. This is something I got set up to check out as a demo. You can choose all these different characters and you can upload audio and it will lip sync over these characters. Right now it's just a demo, and so I was only able to load up 30 seconds, but check this out.
History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected.
Pretty fun. Hopefully, this expands, and then this is going to be a real big hit later this year.
History.
Lots of creative ideas for that. Next up, I want to showcase another powerful tool. This is using ChatGPT-4 in your plugins. This just came out with a meme creator. So this is ability to create memes within ChatGPT. So create a meme about mind-blowing AI tools that came this week. So ChatGPT now is connected to plugins, and then someone created a plugin right here so that they can. I was shocked that this worked and worked so well, but this plugin is then pulling in images, and now ChatGPT is able to display those images right here. So when I tested this out earlier, I was able to literally just download the image right from ChatGPT and fire that puppy away. So it has hundreds of classic memes in this meme creator, and so what you're going to see here is, using those classics. There you go. And then you can say, give me another. So the one I tested this morning, took about 5 tries, and then I had one that I liked and sent that off to a family member. Cool. So yeah, very powerful, and now you have it in the palm of your hands. Last one I wanted to show off today before handing it off to the rest of the team is this one is very, oh, here's another one. Stick with old AI tools, try my blank. There we go. Classic. I do a lot of video editing. I do a lot of home movies, and last week I used ChatGPT to help me create a story arc in order to film going to the Exit and Build summit down in Texas with John Bush, and that was an extremely fun project. I'll probably be making a how-to video on how I did that. But this platform, mysoundful.com, it creates AI audio music, and I really like the interface on this because it breaks it down into styles, into let's see, there's home, moods, instruments, genres, so you can quickly hop into exactly what you are looking for. And
audio might have dropped out on the clip.
my videos stopped getting flagged for having licensed music on YouTube. So I'm really excited to be putting this into my arsenal and being able to create, ongoing video projects. And now with some decent music, it's not the greatest, I have very high standards as a DJ, but it's good enough for like some background music for my home movie. So excited about this. Thanks for the rest of the team for carrying on the podcast today. Lots I didn't cover, and there's a lot more cool tools coming out.
Awesome. Thank you, Joshua. I really want to try out that, what was it called? Soundful, the beat maker. I was just looking at the local offerings for kids over the summer for the community college, and they have all these game development things and online courses and cooking courses. And one of them was how to like layer and loop sounds to make your own songs. And my son is just always like playing a beat or making a weird little sound or song with his mouth. So I think that AI tool would be really fun for him, especially after having learned how to like actually build a song himself. So last week that I hosted, so 2 weeks ago, I also talked about something I can use for homeschooling, which was storywizard.ai. And since that episode somehow got lost in the ether, I don't know where it went. I had a blank folder on my computer. Apparently I need some more AI tools in my life. I thought I would just show that again really quick because I really liked it. And then we can talk about some of the other tools that Joshua showed. For example, one of the tools that he showed, the meme generator, I want to use that. And so I Googled, how do I get the plugins with ChatGPT? And let me just see if I'm doing the right share screen here. I Googled how to do that, and it said you have to have ChatGPT Pro, which is $20 a month. So, it's an option to be considered at a later date. Okay, so this is what I shared 2 weeks ago. Storywizard.ai takes like a sentence or two from your child or yourself if you want to make up a story. And you just give it like the bare bones. You can give it more if you want, but really it just takes your story idea and runs with it. It was pretty true to the story idea that my son had, which was a little boy wanted to visit Jupiter, but he knew Jupiter was a gas giant, so he wouldn't be able to like walk on it. And so his idea was to bring some Earth rocks and get close enough in a spaceship to like throw them to where they get attracted from the gravitational pull. I'm getting 2 thumbs up from the kid himself. And eventually the rocks would form a walkable surface. So Storywizard AI took a couple sentence description and made that story. And then what's really cool about it is that it can add details too. So Pete knew that Jupiter was a gas giant, meaning there was no solid surface to walk on. So it tells his story, and it's, true enough to his vision, but then it adds details to it as well. If you don't like those details, you can edit the copy, or you can edit the pictures too. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then here's what was this? This is a 1-minute video. If you are looking to get those plugins for ChatGPT and you're just as clueless as me, just look on YouTube and there's a 1-minute video there that tells you exactly how to do it. So I wanted to open up the floor and ask if anybody else wanted to comment on some of the tools that Joshua shared. The interview one kind of made me laugh, a cringy style of laugh. I think I saw Mike kind of shaking his head at that one. I mean, us being in autonomy, we have this great benefit of having dozens of interviews under our belts by the time you've been in the program long enough. And it's something I was a news reporter, so I understand the value of an interview, but I didn't understand the value of it completely in all aspects of life beyond the interview. You can represent yourself more clearly, speak more clearly. And so I feel like it affects my thinking even, if I'm able to speak and represent my thoughts more clearly, I feel like it clears out my thinking, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to be using that tool, but it's kind of cool that it's out there for people that feel like they need that little scaffolding. I would just hope eventually they would take the scaffolding away and like build their skills, So yeah, I really don't have very many tools to share, but if anybody else wanted to share a tool or their impression on the ones that Joshua shared, the floor is open.
I guess I'll chime in and I invite my fellow
You're
members
muted.
there to, oh, hello? Can you hear me? Dave hears me.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I guess, the interview one, I think is very interesting because I do feel like, what we're being taught in autonomy is that, ability to actually listen and hear what people are saying versus, what the standard answer is. And I tend to believe that this is one of those instances where, there is the artificial intelligence, but then there's this other trend that I think is going to be really important, real intelligence, where we are able to distinguish between the two. And, I really feel like that's a great example of, how we compare and really can like define talking to real people and, the value of talking to the real people and the value of autonomy.
Well, I love what you're saying, Michael, and I love seeing all the new tools pouring out so quickly now. It's really very exciting. I didn't get the interview piece. That was by me, but that's okay. The tools, these are tools and they are very cool, I must admit. And they can be very cruel. So what I still am looking for is we don't want technology to be weaponized. We want to use it and have it make our lives better. And I'm seeing both. And so it's very exciting times. I think we just need to continue to discern and make sure we're not manipulated, and but we're using them to actually help us do what we want to do in the world. So that's what I have to say about that. It's very cool and it's awesome, the things that are coming out.
Part of my oops. Yeah, I couldn't hear you guys, so I had to sign in on here so I can hear you. Part part of my concerns about it being really cool is that, I don't know, I just have this vision in my head of like my son getting lost in this AR, VR world someday. Like I see some kids, you know, they're wearing the goggles and they're just kind of batting at the air. And it just seems, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. So yeah, it's really cool stuff. And, you know, it's like, I think Darren last time I was here was saying, watch out for the bait, you know, or the hook or something like that. Like, you know, it's useful. And I think that we can put it to good use. And Leah had a great contribution last time I was hosting. Leah, I don't know if you were here when I said it, but that whole thing didn't get recorded 2 weeks ago. So we're here now, and I'm happy that you guys are all here. But I'm gonna mute up actually because I'm having sound issues.
I'd like to add a little bit to what Stephanie was kind of talking about, you know, using, you know, our AI tools that we're discovering as we roll along. There's so much new stuff that's coming as scaffolding. And, you know, that's a temporary structure that, you know, can help get it done. And I think that it's really wise when we consider with consciousness to approach our creativity with the best due diligence that we can. I think that's what done right looks like to me is the human element. There's plenty of stuff that could be a little on the dark side, you know, kids that are going to be coming into the virtual reality universe and everything else are too, our eyes are not really designed to be having all these blinking lights shining in at our brain and stuff. So there's lots of scary stuff out there. But using these tools like lip syncs from Lalalumu Studio and stuff like that seems really exciting for us to create content for freedom. Thanks for the tie-in there with the scaffolding as being a structure to help us get our creativity juices going and do the boring stuff for us.
I fixed the audio issues. Yeah, so scaffolding is a huge, it's just been on my mind a lot lately because I'm trying to, you know, homeschool my son and think about his independence, his level of responsibility, and like where can I put in the scaffolding that's just temporary and then can be taken away, and like how can I kind of make it like a stepped approach where necessary. I mean, some things you don't need to be so careful and strategic, but as a teacher, that was a word that I learned in teacher prep school, is the scaffolding. I never would have thought of it before. You know, I just thought like you put some information in the kid's brain. Like that's honestly how I thought it worked. You just spit out the information and then the children absorb it. Speaking of education, Joshua shared with me, I think it was a Khan Academy tool that it has mathematical discourse with the student. The only drawback I could see to it is that the student would have to like read it and like type into it. So it's not like engaging in a conversation with the person in front of you. But that is another huge pillar of instruction, was conversation, especially in math, talking about your problem solving strategies and encouraging invented strategies, not just ones you're giving to the kids, just asking them like, well, what would you do to solve this, and use your problem solving skills. And everybody can talk and have this great conversation. And one thing that this tool was doing was not just saying that's right or that's wrong, or this is even this is why it's right or wrong, but oh, I noticed that you did this in your problem solving. Can you tell me why you did that? And so I just think it must be really well programmed to be able to have that level of mathematical discourse with a student. I haven't tested it out, but it seems pretty great for a student who can engage with something where they're reading and typing. Otherwise, it could be just a little bit of a delay, like you as the parent or the teacher can read it to the kid and have them input their answers and be like a go-between. But I'm excited to try that out.
I
So
thought of another ad that could probably throw into the space here, was that I had a really great opportunity to be sitting in with Stefano when he was talking about his 20 years of experience in audio engineering and whatnot, at least in a taste of that. And the discussion of AI tools of the week came into the last of our conversation about how could we find ways that we could use DaVinci Resolve with some kind of an AI tool that would help take the boring stuff out, so we could concentrate on the cool stuff that the world needs to hear about.
yeah, well, yeah, let me know what you guys come up with. I always want to go to those meetings. Video editing, AI, this stuff all really interests me. I'm not, too skilled in it yet, but I've always been more of a creative person. And so using these tools to kind of help me express some of that would be awesome. So here is the video I was telling you about. I think it's Khan Academy using it, maybe not.
Scholars, this is 2-minute papers with Dr. Károly Zsolnai Fehér. Dr. Papers. Today, I would like to show you one of my favorites, a work that I am really excited about. Now, I know, you are saying, Doc, you are always excited for these papers, and yes, but today, extra excited. Because today, we are going to talk about how AI will supercharge school and teaching. Most schools have tens, or in Africa, unfortunately, even hundreds of students for each teacher, and this makes it very difficult to do this job well. An ideal teacher would know all the answers, would have infinite patience, and an infinite amount of time for every single student, and perhaps would also be affordable for the students' families. But that is ridiculous. Of course, such a teacher has never existed before until now. This is Khan Migo from Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a set of online tools and lectures that help children study, and now it has been supercharged by ChatGPT. Let's marvel together at how this incredibly knowledgeable chatbot can supercharge studying for children today. This is how it helps studying mathematics. Oh boy, let's just ask it to tell all the answers, and we are done. Well, look. Oh yes, it knows all the answers, but it would rather help us find out ourselves. Loving it. Look at how well it slowly guides the student towards the right solution. And if we don't get even the first step right, it does not get disappointed, and it does not run out of patience. It will be there to help us, always. And now, hold on to your papers, because this is my favorite, and I am sure it will be yours too in a moment. Yes, it also answers the ultimate question that every student on this planet has ever asked, and that is, why do I need to learn this? Now, clearly, every single young scholar has this question in mind, but asking the teacher about it is not always a good idea. But with an AI, just ask as much as you want. It's not going to get frustrated, and it has the knowledge of the entire internet at its disposal. What does that mean? It means that it can not only explain what we are studying these for, but you can even name your favorite activity, for instance, soccer, and it will tell you exactly why mathematics could be useful for that, predicting player movements, data analytics, and so on. This is fantastic, and I am 99% sure it can do it for even more granular things, not just mathematics in general. You will be able to know exactly what a particular mathematical technique you are studying is good for, how it can enrich your life. Now, clearly, this is a completely different level of teaching. I can only wish I had a teacher like that. Wow! Imagine how excited the next generation of young scholars will be to study with tools like this. So, what else can it do? Well, it also quizzes you. And if you don't know the answer, it doesn't just plainly tell you the answer, but it wants you to find out. First, you can even ask for a hint. These logs are available for the teacher, who can look up what the typical mistakes were and discuss those during the next class, or even ask ChatGPT to do it in 10 seconds for all the students. How incredible is that? And get this, it can also debate you. If you wish to start a debate about a sensitive topic and maybe not reveal some early thoughts that are not fleshed out yet, you can test it against the AI. It will not judge you and even help you refine your arguments or provide counter-arguments to you. So good. It can also read all the materials about important historical figures, and that means we can even make a history class come alive by talking to George Washington, or even to a god, Zeus himself. Ah, mortal. I love it. This is incredible. Now, here is the often cited topic, cheating with writing essays. And here, it doesn't really go the way the news keeps presenting to you over and over again. The AI does not write the essays for the children. The AI writes with the children, giving them a really enjoyable experience. Look, we can even choose what kind of story we wish to write. Then we get the workflow where we write one paragraph, then the AI...
Am I the only guy in the room that wants to pull the plug on that guy and not have a conversation with him anymore?
This guy's way.
I'm complete with this. I almost had to leave the,
Yeah, I should have warned you guys. Yeah, when I first listened to it, I was like, is this guy like trying to follow a pattern? It's really strange. It's almost like it was programmed by a robot.
I can't help but to imagine if we left our kids homeschooling and went off to do what we had to do, if they were left here, this would not help people find answers, but that would not be a healthy way to spend time, in my opinion.
I'm viewing it as a potential scaffold, especially with this storytelling part. And I think I remembered the mathematical discourse part of it a little bit more robust than what I just saw. I was really excited the first time I saw it. But this just kind of looked like it would explain the answer, but not to the level I was thinking of, like, hey, kid, you explain your thinking and we'll dig into it. But I haven't tried it, so maybe it does.
It's a beautiful contrast for, the human element of conversation. And I think that there's really some huge depth that we could sort of explore about that. I mean, there's just there's a great part of us that desires not to be replaced, and that's a good contrast to look at and just go, I think we got an advantage here. People can really learn from one to another.
Yeah, I love how you worded that. It's a beautiful contrast, because all the kids together talking is what makes it awesome, sharing all their ideas. But I think we've just, many of us, not everybody, have gotten so used to this new normal of kids are on the computer to learn now, and I want to resist that as much as I can. My son hates Zoom and, learning on the computer. So it's not hard for me to resist it, but it's important to do.
I'll also add that it made me laugh when it was all, oh, it can tell you why it's important to learn this. And I'm like, is it ever going to bring up what we all know about what the function of school is as an indoctrination program and all that? Is it going to slip up with that?
Yeah. Dave, was it you that shared that comic a while back that was like the education, or what did it say? They're never going to teach you what you need to know to overthrow them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point, Cody. No, it'll get into how math is used in real life, but I mean, if you get really deep into like soccer analytics, sure. I mean,
but unless you become the guy doing the soccer analytics, you don't need that complex math.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the kid who said, my favorite thing is soccer, their favorite thing is playing the game.
Probably.
Not analyzing player stats. Who knows? Some people are into that. Yeah, so I feel like children always surprise you. And a lot of these tools kind of take some of that surprise, the opportunity for surprise out of it, maybe. So I think I'm still kind of tiptoeing forward carefully, and viewing these as tools, hooks, scaffolds, but not to be relied upon. And I've got to get running, but I want to thank you guys for joining me again. And I hope I get to have zero tech difficulties next time I share.
Thank you for investing your time with us today, Stephanie.
Thanks for showing up, guys. See you next time.